Stacey, this is always a key time for many retailers because of that back-to-school transition. Is the Delta variant, is the supply chain impact that we're seeing going to have an effect on the back-to-school season?
Well, Dom, I've been out in stores and I would tell you that there are shortages of just about everything, particularly in toys and footwear. So before we even really get into back to school, we're already seeing problems on the shelves. So that is the biggest challenge right now. Also, talking to stores with the Delta variant headlines, you're not really seeing a huge slowdown in traffic quite yet. Most of the stores are saying the American consumer is quite resilient, and certainly we've learned that. But I think there'll be some volatility as people, are getting somewhat fearful of being back in the stores. And also, there's some controversy in the stores. Mask up, don't mask up. So, back to school is off to a decent start because we haven't really had one in 2 years. But look for some volatility as we get further into it.
So I mean, this is an interesting point, Stacey. If you take a look at the balance sheet of the American consumer overall, there's no doubt the numbers show that things have gotten a lot better. We thought there was going to be a massive drop-off in spending as government stimulus programs, direct checks started to go away. We have not seen that just yet, and there could be more help on the way in the future at some point. What does all of this mean? Does it mean that the retailers out there are going to have a good fall and holiday shopping season?
I think retailers and brands are going to have one of the best back to school seasons we've seen in more than a decade. Because if you think about all that pent up demand, and also you think about the teen shopper that led us really back into the stores, they haven't been to school. They haven't been to really express themselves in a couple of years now. So American Eagle, Abercrombie and Fitch. And by the way, Dom, because of the inventory shortages, everything is full price. So those margins continue to be extremely elevated, which is something we've seen over the last 9 months. So you're going to see profitability, but perhaps for some of the names, because of the supply pressure and cost of shipping, which you've talked so much about, watch out for out of stocks.
So that's a good point. There's a balance here, right? If you have a lot of inventory, you have more stuff to sell. There may be a question about pricing, whether you have to be more promotional. At the same time, if you don't have enough stuff to sell, you don't have to be promotional, but you can't sell that much stuff. So which companies have managed that supply chain the best? Which ones are positioned the best, in your opinion, to do well this season?
Well, I think if you look at who's reporting this week, we've got Target, and Target's comps have been absolute leading retail. And not only is it online, but it's the in-store comps. They guided mid to high single digits for this quarter when the street was looking for negative. They're facing those really tough 2 years compares, but they've got what the consumer wants: the private label, the kids, the toys, you name it. Their in-stocks are slightly better than what I've seen from the competition. Of course, Walmart as well. So I think any of the big names are once again going to continue to lead us because they have the strength to actually get product from the supply chain. The other thing is I would look at DTC brands rather than wholesale. For example, of course, a Nike rather than a Foot Locker, because think about it, if we have short supply, the brands are going to keep the good supply for themselves, and perhaps the wholesale channel gets the shortage. So I think that's the way to play holiday here.